Well, good afternoon and welcome to my channel, Grumpy Buzzard Rustic Life. I was hesitant to do this channel and I've been contemplating it for about 2 years. But I've had a lot of people that know me locally, grew up with me, or have otherwise come to know me the last few years, told me I needed to do this. They wanted me to do this. And so I was very hesitant, and I'm still hesitant, and I'm probably not going to be very good at it. But the channel's going to be a lot of times sitting around my fire pit, which I have over to my left right now. If I have a fire going, do some fire pit cooking, explanation of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. We're discussing current events and things going on, opinions from my perspective, some preparedness tips, some commentary on today's world. And for my first inaugural video, I wanted to discuss something I see lacking a lot thereof in today's world, and especially in our country. When I was in school, I had a class called military biography, and we had to write a major paper on one military commander. Told my professor to choose whoever he chose. I would do the research on. And for me, he picked a Roman general named Scipio, Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus. He served Rome in the Punic War, the Second Punic War, which was held between 218 BC to 201 BC. Scipio was born 236 BC and died 183 BC. He was born in Rome. Other than his outstanding generalship, his ability to lead armies, to build armies, and to conduct warfare in that time, there were a few things about Scipio that I came to realize that I really admired about him. And it's something I think people today could learn from, especially younger men, and even a few old thugs like me. Scipio could be a brutal man. He could be a man of violence. When he was 16 years old, he rode into battle and saved his father. Something very similar to what Alexander the Great did. But he was also a diplomat, a moral man, and a gentleman. And that's kind of what I want to focus on today. During his fighting in Spain against Hannibal Barca, Hannibal of Carthage, the famous Hannibal who took the elephants over the Alps into Italy and sacked Rome before, they brought a young lady to him that he had captured, basically to give her over as a concubine. He knows she had a promise ring on her finger, from Spanish tradition, whatever. Talked to her about it. Her soon-to-be husband had also been captured. Now, Scipio had already informed several elders of different villages in Spain that he would treat the prisoners with respect and dignity. That was not normal. This was the Second Punic War, which also had the Battle of Cannae under Julius Caesar, which there were 62,000 deaths in one day at the Battle of Cannae, and Julius Caesar lost. 62,000 in one day, where it's reported that so many arrows were in flight at one time, the sky got dark. Yeah, folklore for that. But it's not folklore that 62,000 people died in one day of fighting with bows and arrows and ballistas and slings and shields and swords. That's brutality. And that's the era Scipio was in. He arranged for that young man to be brought to her, get married, let's have a celebration. And they did. And it won over a lot of who would be enemy of Rome. He brought them over to his side of things because they did not expect that. Later on, there was a Carthaginian general named Massinissa. I may be butchering that name. Well, they captured a 10-year-old boy approximately and brought him for Scipio. And you can just see Scipio sitting there on his camp chair with his doing one of these for like 10 minutes, looking at this kid. Kid's probably scared to death, trembling. I'm sure he's probably tearing up, probably crying. Scipio leans forward and says, "Aren't you a bit young to be in the cavalry?" He told him that his uncle didn't know that he had taken a horse and rode into battle with him. "Who's your uncle?" "Massinissa." To which Scipio gave him a royal ring with my signet on it, a royal cloak, sent him back to his uncle unharmed with my compliments. They did that. Massinissa was so impressed. I didn't expect this, so they met one-on-one. Massinissa eventually flipped, along with a lot of other cavalry commanders that were before Hannibal, that were in Spain, and fought with Scipio against Hannibal and defeated them at the Battle of Carthage. He even sent a former enemy over the Mediterranean Sea to Rome to request additional troops for a northern flank, moving south to attack Carthage. And the Roman Senate approved it. Scipio wanted to be proconsul, leader in Rome. And though he was a man, I think, ahead of his time, there are lessons for guys today. In my early 20s, I was a bouncer at a few places here in Wilson, North Carolina, where I live. And I had a few scrapes, a few scrapes. I can honestly say that I was never defeated. But that's because most of the time, I was able to talk myself out of a fight. We don't always have to be testosterone-laden, bulking muscles, ready to kill somebody kind of guys. You can do that and be that kind of man when you have to be. And there may be a time in the near future where a lot of us, unfortunately, may have to be in that mentality, because there's a lot of danger. Our country is fading. It's becoming even more divisive by race, creed, color, political opinion, whatever. That's unfortunate, but this is a great country, still the greatest country. But every tyrant in history has used those tactics to tear down a country, to become its deliverer. We're in that situation right now. So you can be a warrior and do the warrior things, the violence of action, if and when you have to do that. Fellas, men, you can also be a gentleman, and you can be diplomatic. You don't always have to go in swinging first, you know? There's something about being a gentleman and moral, being chivalrous, that's not completely dead. You know, since I was old enough to drive, I've always parked at the back of a parking lot. You know, and back when we had the mall, but there was not the Walmarts and everything there is now. The shopping centers weren't like they are here now, back then. But even then, I'd go to Cook's department store, whatever. I'd park at the back of the parking lot, go in, come out, and I did that so older people, elderly people could be closer to the front and have less to walk. as I've gotten older, if I come out of a store or something and I'm in the parking lot, I look around for a minute and see if there's a single lady or an elderly lady or a woman with children walking out of the store. And I just watch from a distance. It may be creepy, I'm not trying to be, but I want to make sure that that lady with her children or that elderly lady or even a younger girl makes their vehicle okay and there's nobody following them. And I watch they pull out and I watch for a second, see if there's a car comes out right behind them. I think that it's just the right thing to do. And if you see something, then you might need to step in and handle it. So, you can be a warrior, you can be good at the military arts and the arts of war, but you can also be somewhat diplomatic and be a gentleman. Being a gentleman and being diplomatic doesn't make you weak. It actually makes you a better man most of the time. I remember I was at Bucks one night and this guy was really causing problems. He's 6'7", 320, 330. And at the time I was 215, 5'8.5". And he had to leave. And I walked up to him and basically looked at him like a cloud. And I said, "Hey man, you gotta go." And it could have got ugly. But after discussion, I walked him to the door. I paid his cab ride home. He left. Walked in and Buck asked me, "Did you pay that cab ride?" I went, "Yeah, $18. Hit the register and handed me $20 bill. I said, it was worth it. It wasn't worth fighting. You know, and I've been in a few scraps, scrapes, you know, a couple bad ones. But most of the time after it was over with, shook hands and done with it. It's not that way anymore, unfortunately. So I hope you get a little something out of this, that you can be a tough guy and still be a gentleman, you know, and take care of some of the women and the girls you see out there. Generally, be a gentleman. So that's my talk for my first inaugural video on YouTube. I will have a Rumble channel shortly where I will talk about things that I really can't discuss on YouTube, things that have been requested for me to do. But on this channel, we'll do some fire pit cooking. If you have a recipe, something you want me to try to cook over the fire, if you'll send it to me, I'll give me the recipe layout, I'll give it a shot, and I'll record it and film it. You know, I won't necessarily show you the whole thing step by step because that could take a long time, but I'll break it down for you, and we'll have a taste test, and we'll see if I blew it or if it's actually pretty good, you know. And if I blow it, I'll tell you I blew it, you know. I'll do some talks on preparedness. Now, why should you listen to me about preparedness? Well, I was mentored by a Vietnam era Green Beret when I was a kid. Learned to read everything, and I did that. I was a voracious reader, still am. I accumulated about a 5,000 book library on military history, espionage, political thought, things like that. I've been a preparedness instructor for various subjects at the Heritage Life Skills in Mountains, North Carolina for about 8 years. I've taught leadership, water filtration, general preparedness, and logistics for preppers. Basically, families to prepare their own logistics system to continue to exist when if things get really bad, and I'm of the opinion that they probably will. I raised 3 stepdaughters who were born in Peru. My wife is Peruvian. And they have all graduated from high school, all graduated from college, all became good citizens. They're all active in the church, and they're good citizens, and I'm proud of that. I'll do some cigar reviews occasionally, and some pipe reviews, pipe tobacco reviews. I like to smoke a pipe like my granddaddy. Preparing to do this channel, I'll do some talks on other commanders in history that I've admired and some I haven't admired, and lessons we can learn from that. I'm going to do a series of stories that my grandfather told from his war service in World War II, and also his time as a sporting goods salesman on the road for 50 years. Some of the stories are really touching, some are really funny, and some are really just good, wholesome stories that kind of make you laugh a little bit, make you smile, which I hope that's what you do anyway. You know, this is not going to be a tactical channel, and I'm not saying I won't have anything like that. I may, and I may have a guest here or there that comes around the fire, and as it goes back into fall and winter, if we're still here, we'll do some interviews around the fire pit, and I'll have a fireside chat kind of thing. So, you know, you have a recipe you want me to cook, let me know and put it in the comments, or send it to me, email it to me. And you know, I feel kind of stupid doing this, because I'm not doing this to monetize anything. I just want to generally help people. But like and subscribe, and I've got some stickers, and I've got some t-shirts made that I'm having done. And if you'd like a t-shirt or a sticker, let me know, and I'll put them in the merch store, whatever. Might do some off-roading videos. I do some off-roading, camping away from my home when I have time. I own an air freight and delivery logistics business, and that keeps me pretty busy. I don't get a lot of free time. I'm building a 1960 M38A1 Jeep, and I'll probably shoot some videos on that as we go along to see how it comes along when I get it finished. I'm a Toyota FJ Cruiser owner. I've had Land Cruisers, I've had Jeeps, I've had everything four-wheel drive related. Not a good fisherman. I am a Christian, profess Jesus Christ as my Savior. I don't always act like the best Christian, that I will admit to. I'm not proud of that, but it's the truth. So anyway, enough of my flapping my gums. Hope you like this. If you did, subscribe, or at least tell me that you did. And these will get better. My editing will get better. And I'm just doing this simply off my phone at my outdoor table under my shelter, because my editor right this second is busy. That's my oldest daughter. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you got something out of it. And this is the Grumpy Buzzard signing out.